They used to talk about being gay as a mental illness or it was a disease. When I was 13, I was experiencing depression and anxiety, and that was very much driven by me coming to the realization or starting to grapple with my own sexuality, that is being gay. I came from a Greek background, so it's not something we talk about, it's something we never discussed. We didn't have the internet back then, so I used to go to the library and find these books, and they used to talk about being gay as a mental illness or it was a disease, and all the therapies that they would all talk about. So it just felt like I was on my own and I didn't belong, and so suicide ideation was very, very big for me. Thinking about I'd rather be dead than alive, and because I felt like I had this disability, and it's not a disability, but I felt like I just didn't belong on this earth, and I didn't deserve to be here, and I was constantly in conflict with myself and who I was and my identity, and just pushing down that gayness, if there's such a word, that's like holding your breath underwater for a very big part of your life and never coming up for air. And it really just, I used to just be caught in my own thoughts a lot, and could not know how to get out of my head, and just having those suicide ideation that, I wish when I go to the doctors, he would tell me I've got a terminal illness. And I think I just pushed it right down and tried to ignore it, but it really influenced who I was, and I became this person that maybe I didn't want to be, only because I was hiding this secret as I saw it. My thoughts of suicide were very loud, and they started to scare me. So I knew how I was going to end my life, I just didn't know when. And laying awake at night knowing how I was going to end my life, and only knowing it was going to be a matter of time, and that really scared the hell out of me. It was frightening that I was thinking about ending my own life, and being in such a hole that the only way I could see out was to take my own life. Somewhere down there was the true self, the part that wants to live, the part that's always wanted to live, the part that says we're hardwired to live. And that was the part that every now and then would come into my head and say, George, there is hope, there is something out there. And I think that's probably what kept me going for a while. And it was at that point I thought, I've got to do something, because a part of me still wanted to live. So that part took me to the doctor, and I saw the psychiatrist, and I told him I was having thoughts of suicide, and I told him what I was planning to do, and that was something that he took into consideration, and recommended that it was necessary for me, or that I should spend some time in a mental health facility to help me through this period. I was ashamed, I was embarrassed, and basically I walked out of his office thinking, this is the end of me, this is the end of my life. I'm just going to be mentally unwell for the rest of my life. I was in there for 5 weeks, and towards the end I'm like, I wouldn't say I was feeling hope, but I knew something had changed. I didn't come out to 31. I had no intention to come out. I had planned to live the life I was living for a very long, to the day I died, but I don't know, it just happened. And I was at home, and one of my cousins saw me feeling not myself, and she started to ask me all these questions, and I just said it. And I remember saying to her, I feel so free, and I felt like something had been lifted off my shoulders, and it actually was very empowering for me. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. I'm under the care of a psychiatrist, I'm on medication, but I've also found meaning and purpose in my own journey. So I'm a speaker with Beyond Blue. I'm a lived experience advisor with the Black Dog Institute, and also with Lifeline Australia. I volunteer as a crisis supporter, and also as a supervisor. So for me, doing that and giving back and purpose is probably the most important thing for my own well-being. I always used to be afraid of using the word suicide, or are you having thoughts of suicide? It's something that, I never really wanted to talk to anyone about. But I find that now asking that question is very, very powerful. And I've asked it with family friends, I've asked it with work friends and work colleagues, and it's a very, very, very powerful question to ask. Thoughts of suicide's quite impulsive. Those thoughts will come and go. So if you can connect with someone by asking them that question, then potentially you may save their life.